If there's one dinosaur in the running for more popular than T.rex, it might just be Spinosaurus. Maybe it's because the most recent Jurassic World movie featured a big, chunky Spinosaurus, or maybe it's because the fans of Jurassic Park 3 have just now had their frontal lobes develop. But for some reason, Spinosaurus is more popular now than ever. It even became a mainstream meme. Look, here's some random-ass meme account, nothing to do with dinosaurs, posting a Spinosaurus meme. But Spinosaurus isn't just good, it's the best. Somewhere a diehard T.rex fan just clicked off the video out of frustration. Haters beware, I love me a Spinosaurus. And that neatly brings us to the reason we're all here today, and why you clicked on the gosh darn video. Which Spinosaurus is the best? We're running it back one more time, say it with me now. Dino Debate Round 3, Spino v Spino. I've got two collector-oriented action figures of the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus, and today we're going to break them on down and figure out which one truly is the best. Hey guys, I'm Gary the Gremlin, but I can't deal with that now. You googly gang have been proper begging and groveling for this video to happen, so I hope you enjoy. Like, comment, and subscribe, and blah blah. Spinosaurus! The only dinosaur capable of causing a YouTube comment section argument longer than the entire Jurassic Park 3 script. Our first contender, a figure that needs no introduction, but we'll still get one regardless. The Hammond Collection Spinosaurus from Mattel. This might be the most talked about figure on the channel, and for good reason. It's a really awesome toy. As for our newcomer, and our metaphorical underdog, a figure that might need just a little introduction, the fresh new Spino on the block, the infamous Supplanter War God from Nanmu Studios. Oh, and also Todd. He's here too. He's named in honor of Todd Marshall, a paleo artist who, if you don't recognize by name, you'll definitely recognize by his gangly-ass Spinosaurus artwork. Wow. More on that later. I really love the names on these two, they're perfect. Realm Warden and War God sound more like something from Magic the Gathering than the Mesozoic, but I'm here for it. Is there a Magic the Gathering Spinosaurus card? Oh, shit. Look at him go! Itali! Primal Conqueror! That's great, I love that for him. I am still calling the green one Todd, though.
Aww. So cute!
So, we're immediately off to a weird start. It's not often I do one of these dino debates and have a random extra green dinosaur laying around. I love Todd here, and I'm so thankful for him. And that's why I have to thank and talk about today's sponsor, Kauke's Toys. Kauke's reached out to me a while back offering to send me these figures for me to review, and I'm so thankful for them doing that. Lord knows these things don't come cheap, but thankfully, Kauke's is one of the few places that still has them in stock and at cheaper prices. Kauke's has figures from brands like Bandai, 3-Zero, Jada Toys, Blockies, SH Monster Arts, Haya, and many, many more. Kauke's has also become my go-to for getting these Nanmu dinosaur figures, because they usually have them in stock fast and with the cheapest prices. But if these prices aren't already cheap enough, especially compared to some competitors, well, I've got good news for you. We've got a discount code. Enter Gary-Kaukes at checkout to get an additional 6% off your purchase. That's Gary-Kaukes, and don't you forget it. If you want to buy this figure from, the only place that has it currently in stock, as well as support your favorite gremlin YouTuber, hopefully that's me, I don't know many other gremlins out there, click the link in the description to get your own Asset 87 now. Alright, once again, the biggest of thank yous to Kaukes for being a friend of the channel and for sending me these guys, and let's actually get into them. We're going to be starting with the Nanmu Spinos, give them their proper channel introduction and review, and then more of just a light refresher on the Hammond Collection one. I've already reviewed that guy more than enough, so he can take a break. But right now, it's all about Nanmu. But not actually, first we need to start with the box. And I really like the boxes. There are these really cute claw marks up here on the right corner, just like the opening title for the movie. And you know that got me even more excited to open these guys. It's important for you to know that as I was filming this unboxing, I was listening to Animal I Have Become. Nanmu absolutely cooked here, from the bottom to the top. This whole package is a love letter to JP3, just without anything legally approved. That's the tricky thing about third-party items. I mean, they're technically copyright infringement and illegal and all that. I feel like it's perfectly fine with the T-Rex because, I mean, how would you copyright a T-Rex? It's a T-Rex. But I'd argue that there's less so plausible deniability on Nanmu's part with this Spinosaurus, because just how closely it looks like the Jurassic Park Spino. And with the Indominus, you got no chance. That's just straight up lawsuit bait for Universal. Somewhere a Universal lawyer just raised out of his coffin with the slightest whiff of berserker impulse. Stay tuned for that review. It's a shame these aren't officially licensed. I wish Mattel could get any of their products up to the same level of quality as these. Mattel might be better off hiring Nanmu's people instead of suing their pants off. Hey, this box has got more love than Mattel gives their officially licensed products. Don't get me started on the Hammond Collection Hypsilophodon, just straight up reusing the box art from the Dryosaurus. That's insane levels of low effort. At that point, why even bother? Just put an image of a middle finger on the box, it's the same difference. Mattel's sitting on a pile of money and laughing because, I'm just gonna buy it anyways. Opening up that box, the Spinos come very well packaged to avoid any paint scratches or just general damage to them. Shame that doesn't really prevent anything that happened back at the factory they were made at. The War God movie deco version came with this stand piece without a hole drilled through it, meaning that it's impossible to properly assemble it. The screw just can't go through. There's definitely a sex joke here somewhere about screwing? ? As good a time as any, though, to mention that they did come with a stand. It's a decent little one, exact same as what came with the Alpha Buck figure. It's just got 3 different points where it can hinge, plus an opening claw. This partially assembled screwless version of the stand works just fine for some basic walking poses, but maybe not for the swimming pose I was desperately trying to make happen here. In a moment I stupidly forgot to record, I managed to fix it with a power drill, and now it works. Chaos theory. I mean, who could have predicted that Gary would spend the effort to fix something, yet also forget to record it? Now, that's chaos. Not that the Spinosaurus really needs this stand, because he can manage alright on his own. Look at him go. A lot better than the Buck Rex, who had a terrible habit of violently eating floor. It's got high fiber. Also included are these alternate hands that are so amazing. These are a really fantastic part of the package and really help set this apart as a collector's item. Out of the box, the Spino comes with these somewhat relaxed hands already on it, then one very splayed attacking one for the right arm, and then this one for the left arm in more of a grabbing fist pose. These extremely varied alternate hands add so much to the poses you can get with this figure, and I love them so much. It'd be downright stupid to include alternate hands on a figure if they were just slightly different than the normal ones, right? Who would do that? That'd be stupid. And now that we've got the box and accessories and at least one dig at the Hammond Collection Indominus Rex out of the way, this genetically engineered theme park monster is nothing more or nothing less than absolutely gorgeous.
Wow.
Alan Grant may not approve of the Spinosaurus, but God, I do. This thing is beautiful. If you're a big fan of Jurassic Park 3's terrific and game-changing Spinosaurus design, then you're gonna need yourself this figure. I think this is about as perfect a translation of the on-screen film dinosaur to action figure form as you could hope to get. Terrific aura, Hall of Fame aura on this bad boy. The sculpt work here is extraordinary. It's not often you get a figure with detail this small and this precise. The scale detailing is so miniature and so clean while still covering the entirety of the body. One really awesome sculpted detail is this giant gash above the thigh. This is of course referencing the second most famous plane crash of 2001. That time the friendly Spinosaurus attempted to save that poor man from being hit by a plane. I emailed the FAA about this and they refused to comment. The cowards. Neither is the paint lacking at all. It's equally detailed to match the quality of the sculpt. Sometimes it's the most subtle little details like the lighter weathering between the folds of skin on the feet, or the faint metallic sheen on this bronze color that really makes this figure shine. And it's super fantastic to finally get a little blue action. Mattel has made this species a handful of times and never included the iconic and beautiful blue markings on the sail. But, it makes sense if this was their concept art sheet. Why are they using the world's smallest images of Spinosaurus for references? They know they have access to the actual CGI models, right? Why don't they just look at those? Somehow, by some miracle, Nanmu, with no access to official film archive materials and no direct CGI model or maquette to base it on, managed to make a Spino that looks so much better, and thankfully, has got the sail kitted out with this lovely blue color, as well as these complex thin white and red patterns. It's really something great. All the patterns here are captured so well and so faithfully. I do have one problem though with the paint. Just one single problem. I think he's a little too brown. Whoa! Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa! No! No, that's not what I meant. I just meant that his skin color is wrong. Oh no. Oh, you know what I meant. Oh god. After that 9/11 joke earlier, I'm getting demonetized anyways. And there's no way to say this that won't make a terrible soundbite, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. The color of his skin is much too dark for my liking. Simply looking at the on-screen guy, it definitely has a lot of brown, just not as much as Nanmu put on this figure. I think Nanmu just went a little too hard on that color for this figure, and there should definitely be more gray and more light tan poking through. I can forgive it though, he still looks fine, and the Spinosaurus does have a fairly varied look throughout the film. Sometimes it's more like a light tan, and sometimes it looks like a shiny gray. It's confusing. There's a lot of different options you could go with. I think the paint here is really great in complexity and detail, just a little off and mostly a little dull. I'd say this is overall a fantastic attempt, but really only seems like it's around 90% right. Now, if you want 100% wrong, like a straight nasty, let me drop in my main man, the Toddster. I might love this version more than the regular guy. Todd, mini review, go! I forgot there was a timer. Okay, so I just really like how green he is. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is based on the specific artwork by his dad, the real Todd Marshall. Mr. Marshall, Todd, if I can call you that. If you're watching this, let me know in the comments, that'd be awesome. Anyways, and crap, time's just flying by. This artwork of Spinosaurus by Todd is pretty famous. I feel like I remember seeing it everywhere when I was a kid. I think it was in National Geographic, and it's cool to see it referenced here. Oh, crap. I mean, I think it's being referenced. This could be based off the Lost World Spinosaurus toy, maybe? It's kind of there, but it's missing way too much lime green, and there's none of the light blue on the underbelly, so I don't really think so. Either way, this is the better color scheme out of the two figures. I really love them, and I'm super glad Nanmu usually makes a random ass color variant. They're always so cool. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. If you're waiting around for a clip of these two fighting each other, too bad. I love them too much to make them do that. These Spinos are lovers, not fighters. I love these two as a pairing. I can just imagine them prowling the ancient Egyptian rivers, finding unwitting Carcharodontosauruses and jumping them for their money.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. All right. Let me tell you something.
I just really love this pose I was able to get them in. And all thanks to these figures' marvelous articulation. Let's talk about it. You know the deal. Play the music. It's posing time. Starting with the mouth, the bottom jaw can open a decent amount. The neck has 3 different ball-jointed segments, one here, and one here. And though they do break the sculpt a little bit, I really don't mind much, and you can get some fantastic range up and down, and even a little bit of a twist. For the shoulder, we get our first randomly ratcheted joint. I love this. It makes posing him feel so much sturdier than the buck. The shoulder goes out pretty far, then it can swivel pretty far forward and pretty far back, but not really a full rotation. The elbow has a great deep ratcheted bend, then a full swivel, and the wrist can swivel as well with another ratcheted bend. You would think that'd be a good thing, but my good buddy David the Dinosaur Man over on Instagram did warn me that these wrists can break fairly easily. You can feel that a bit with how thin the plastic around the joint. I just exercise caution, especially while swapping hand. This is a joint that probably didn't need to be ratcheted because it might stress it too much. But with that being said, I haven't had any problems yet. Maybe it's a skill issue. Cross my fingers and knock on Spino, right? The one big articulation bummer is that they couldn't find a way to engineer a torso joint. I can't blame them. There's one really big reason on why that'd be hard to accomplish. But I can't help being a bit disappointed nonetheless. Now, for how flush it sits with the body, this thigh rotation is bonkers. It can go all the way around, check it out, plus a great amount of spread outwards. Do with that what you will. Evil people. The knee can bend really deep on another ratcheted joint, and it can't really swivel at all. The ankle's got a full swivel and a ratcheted bend, and though it may make them very hard to pose on camera, I'm very thankful for just how tight these leg joints are. This Spino is just fine at standing on his own, a much better improvement over that slippy buck situation. The foot can swivel and bend, super tight there, and each one of his little toes can articulate, which you know I love. Rounding it out, we've got the tail, which has a series of ball-jointed segments, with this first one being able to move super far left and right, far enough to reveal Spino's secret pocket. You don't want to know what happens in there. As we move on down, there's 3 more segments, each with a ball joint, and they seem to gain more range as we move on down the tail. And while sadly missing that torso joint, it's a super impressive range of articulation. Leagues ahead of the articulation you usually see on a Hammond collection figure, and still way better than Creative Beasts. For now. Is the updated Beast of the Mesozoic Rex anybody else's most anticipated figure of this year? No? I'll be placing 15 pre-orders. Paying rent on my new apartment? No. A monarchy of Tyrannosaurus Rexes is the priority right now. The best thing about the articulation on this figure is the major improvements in joint tolerance. The addition of ratcheted joints has really helped add more stability and therefore a better posing experience. I will say, this figure in particular, the Movie Deco one War God, has had some really bad paint chipping. Must be a problem just on this copy though, since the Nanmu Buck didn't have any problems with it, and neither has Todd.
Hello, Gordon Freeman. It's good to see you.
As for a size comparison, Nanmu Spino is 7.5 inches tall to the top of the sail and right around 16 inches long. Although nowhere near as large as some other figures in my collection, this is by no means a small size. These are some pretty big figures, especially height-wise. I'm gonna have to reorganize my shelves once again. These guys ended up being too big for where I planned for them to go. For our standard size comparison, here's my trusty Action Master Grimlock, Gary the Godzilla,
Baba Booey,
the Gary the Gremlin Council of Raptors, and finally, some 1/18th scale human figures. Then, for some strictly dino comparisons, fellow 1/35th scale dinosaur PNSO's Cameron the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and the Nanmu Alpha figure. Man, you know I had a great time recreating specific Jurassic Park 3 shots with these two. I love it. Finally, for some fellow JP3 comparisons, the Hammond Collection Ceratosaurus, the Ankylosaurus, and of course, the Hammond Collection Spinosaurus. And speaking of... Yep, it's Hammond Collection Spinosaurus time. Since we did it with the Nanmu guys, here's the Hammond Collection Spinosaurus's box, and you know what? No. I don't want to talk about no stinking box. Obama, drone strike this guy. The Hammond Collection Spinosaurus also has no accessories to speak of, cause he a broke-ass Spinosaurus hoe. Okay, I'll rein it on in. This is a joke, of course, because I don't think the Spinosaurus necessarily needs accessories. It's just a nice touch, but not required. See, this Spinosaurus is impressive enough on its own. You thought this was a part of the review where I roast the hell out of the Hammond Collection Spinosaurus? No, not by a long shot. I still really love the Hammond Collection Spino. He's my guy. But we are also going to keep it short since Gary got to get a move on. We got to get to that dino debate. If you really want all my in-depth thoughts on the Hammond Collection Spinosaurus, as well as to hear why it really matters to me so much, right now is a great time to pause this video, go watch my original review, maybe take a pee break, maybe get a popcorn bag, and then come on right back and finish up this video. Hell, while you're doing that, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Won't hurt you none, I promise. Anyways, this might be our lowest stakes dino debate so far, because both of these are great figures and both fill very different collection niches. While the Nanmu Supplanter is an impressively screen-accurate recreation of the JP3 Spinosaurus, it sort of loses some charm and character in that process. It is definitely more of a premium collector's item than an actual fun toy experience. On the other hand, this Hammond Collection Spinosaurus feels more like a toy, even if some major accuracy and detail seem to have been sacrificed for that. That's not the best for something attempting to be a collector-oriented model like Mattel claims this to be, but I think that it's great that it feels more fun and carefree. This is a big Spinosaurus toy that looks just enough like the on-screen dino to make me super happy. Emphasis on big. Let's go ahead and get into the size comparison because I got nothing else going on right now. From the bottom of his spiny toe to the top of his paintless sail, the Hammond Collection Spino is 12 inches tall, and from snout to tail tip, right at 26 inches long. One more time, Action Master Grimlock, Gary the Godzilla, Council of Raptors, 1/18th scale humans, and whoa! I guess Big Spino means a big Malcolm. Everybody clap, he's back. For the rest of them, once again, Nanmu Alpha, Hammond Collection Cerato, Anki, and one more time, Nanmu Supplanter War God. I don't know why I'm showing you this comparison again, you've already seen it like 2 minutes ago. As for paint, this figure is severely lacking, and it might just be its biggest problem. If you want to talk about a guy who's too brown, I am not doing this bit again. This Spino is definitely also the wrong color, opting for far too light of a tan with 0 of the gray, but I'm actually fine with it. This is an insane take, I'm aware, but I am just fine with the specific way that this light-skinned Spinosaurus is inaccurate to the film version. What can I say? As a kid, I had this random Jurassic Park 3 dinosaur training games book, and in it, the Spinosaurus illustration looks very tan. I'm sort of okay with this really tan color scheme because it reminds me of that specific Spino depiction, no matter how weird or esoteric that reference may be. The JP3 activity book is insane ball knowledge. Guaranteed that's the most niche thing you'll hear today. What I'm sort of not okay with is the blue missing. To this day, almost a full year after this figure was released, this little detail still really gets to me. How much money did Mattel save by skipping this crucial detail in the color scheme? A couple of cents? Was it worth making it look so much less accurate? I don't know. All I know is that this Spino looks worse off for it. Other than that, the paint isn't terrible. It's just a far cry from the sort of thing you'd see on the Nanmu Spinosaurus. There's very flat colors, little or next to nothing weathering in detail, and a sort of bare bones approach to delivering this iconic color scheme. I'd argue that it's off just enough to stay recognizable, but it sort of looks like a knockoff. Did I mention the dew claw is unpainted? It's rough out here, can't have shit with Mattel. They even left my dew claw unpainted. Heck, this paint job is so weak, I could definitely do better. In fact, I have done better, but that's a completely unrelated thing. Get that out of here. The sculpt work isn't bad by any means. It's definitely a step above most other Hammond collection figures, especially some of those older ones. Articulation is, all things considered, really great.
Wow.
At first, it may initially seem like Nanmu has far greater articulation, and it definitely does range and motion-wise. But the Hammond Collection one is much larger, weighs a ton more, and therefore is going to have a lot more constraints.
Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one.
Pause and think to yourself real quick. Do you know any other figures this large from any other companies that can stand this effortlessly? That alone is a feat in of itself that I can't deny the Hammond Collection release. Making a dinosaur figure this large with no need for a stand or static legs or something like that is really awesome. But of course, the trade-off from all that stability is that there are less joints and less posability. You hear the music, you know the deal, posin' time. I know you sickos love an articulation segment. Be glad you get two of them, okay? At the head, we've got an opening mouth, and it's that smartly engineered situation where the upper and bottom halves of the head articulate separately, so you can get a really nice giant roar out of them. Might be the best roar sound effect ever, definitely in the Jurassic Park franchise. Makes my little gremlin hairs stand on end. There's also an articulating tongue, which is a really cute touch. Moving on down, there's only two neck joints this time around. One ball joint at the back of the head that's got a just okay range of motion, and one at the base of the neck that has a decent range and a fantastic full swivel. The shoulders can fully swivel all the way around and hinge outwards around 90 degrees, while the elbows have a sluggish bend, a full swivel, and the wrists can rotate and swivel. That thigh rotation can go all the way around, just a little teeny tiny smidgen of outward spread. The knees can bend to 90 degrees and properly swivel, and much like the Nanmu ones, the feet have a great range, but the joints are so tight that it's really hard to show it. Bear with me here. There's a hinge at the ankle, a swivel, and a hinge and a swivel down at the foot. Last, we've got a big ball joint at the base of the tail, and a series of ball joints down through most of the length of the tail, which are completely encased in this rubber. Again, on a technical level, it is much worse than the Nanmu one, but in reality, it doesn't feel that much worse. I actually really prefer the way the Hammond Collection Spino's mouth can articulate. It's really smart and makes the poses that much more dynamic.
Wow.
There's also something to be said that it's much easier to get the Hammond Collection Spinosaurus to stand than the Nanmu one. But on the other hand, or other claw, well, I always prefer segmented tails over bendy ones, and the Nanmu one has a really great articulated tail. But that's sounding way too much like an actual dino debate, so let's just say for the Hammond Collection Spinosaurus as a whole, I love it. I think it's easily tied between it and the Giganotosaurus for best Hammond Collection large carnivore figure. There's no contest. It's a pain that it's certainly not as screen accurate as it could have been, seemingly just because some confused design choices. That's frustrating. But the size and shelf presence make this figure really worth it. Not to mention the amazing repaint potential of it. I see fantastic customs of this figure on the daily, and this toy seems to be an amazing base to slap some inventive paint scheme on top of it. That's how you know the repaint virus has taken control of me. My paintbrushes are calling to me like the Green Goblin mask. All in all, suffice to say that I'm a massive fan of this figure and I'm very happy with it. But that happy ending isn't really in the spirit of a true dinosaur debate, is it? No, we need to crown a champion out of our crocodilian kings.
Go!
All right. Feels good to be back and doing a dino debate once again. You know the deal. We've got 6 different categories we're ranking these Spinos on, and at the end, we'll tally up all them points and see why Nanmu won. I mean, see who won. First up is accuracy, but you didn't need me to tell you that because you could read. This one is going to be pretty cut and dry since as far as I can figure, we're just comparing these to the on-screen Spinosaurus and trying to determine which one looks more like it. With that being established, Nanmu might have some slight paint inaccuracies, but that doesn't stop it from being instantly recognizable as exactly what it's supposed to be. This is the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus through and through. I think the head sculpt really does it for me, especially there the likeness is identical. For that, Nanmu earns itself 5 out of 5 Garrys. No questions asked, he deserved it. The only thing that made me consider deducting a point, or at least maybe even half a point, was the whole extreme brownness situation. But my PR managers have since informed me that that's the wrong opinion to have. The Hammond Collection Spinosaurus is in comparison no chump. The proportions are mostly there, the look is mostly right, but there's just enough visual inconsistency that I think one could question if this is even an official product or not. Reminds me of the old P.O Spinosaurus, which looked suspiciously like the JP3 Spino, but just distinct enough that it wouldn't incur the wrath of some universal lawyer. Same situation here. With the shade of brown being so far off, as well as the missing blue, it sort of reads as a more generic early 2000s Spinosaurus look, and not the specific JP3 Spino. For that, I'll give it a solid 3 out of 5 Garrys. Not the best by any means, but not the worst neither. This one is certainly a bit weirder of a category. We're talking cool factor. I was tempted to put the Hammond Collection Spinosaurus far ahead here for its attempt at the moving eyeball, as well as the really fantastic mouth articulation, tongue included. But then, I feel like Nanmu's alternate hands, plus the gnarly plane injury, have got to count for something as well. I'm content to tie them, and they'll both get 4 out of 5 Garrys on this category. Third up, as is tradition, for feel and handling, I will rank the contestants not out of the usual 5 Garrys, but out of a whopping 10! Some would say that's too many Garrys, but I think it's not enough. This is easily the most important category to me. You could hand me the most amazing, gorgeous dinosaur figure ever. Hell, it could be a Raptor Jesus action figure in the flesh. But if that thing falls apart at the slightest touch, or if it can't stay standing, I want nothing to do with it. Case in point, last Dino Debate, Nanmu's Alpha Buck figure got surprisingly low points on this category. And deservedly so, because his ankle joints were unposable due to how tight they were, and his toe joints were so loose he'd just topple over at any time. I've got no patience for terrible feel and handling. And that's why I'm so happy to say that these guys did great! I'm giving Nanmu 9 out of 10 Garys on this one, and Hammond Collection an 8 out of 10. Nanmu really upped their game by making these joints ratcheted. It improves the handling experience tenfold. Should I say ninefold because he won a 9? The overall nature of this Nanmu Spinosaurus just seems to be so much more balanced and easier to mess around with. The Hammond Collection Spino also is not too shabby itself. Like I talked about earlier, as far as massive articulated dinosaur figures go, this one manages to hold up very well. Honestly, this copy probably deserves a 10 for how well it's handled. The only reason I didn't give it that is because my original one had a neck so loose it could barely keep it up. Talk about folding under pressure, this OG Spino's head would just naturally start to droop down over time. Experience with poor quality control initially really turned me off from this figure and crushed my expectations of it, but I'm glad to say that this second copy has made up for it a lot. Fourth, we've got articulation, and here, I gotta say, I'm proud of my boys. I think each Spino really stepped up to the plate and did a great job. Nanmu Spino is super articulated. I absolutely love those toe joints, as well as the segmented tail, and overall the range and motion is fantastic. I think it's a similar situation with the Hammond Collection Spinosaurus. It's impressive how posable and dynamic it can be. The only issue I could see with both of them is missing some sort of torso joint, but I also can't really start to imagine how ugly that would make the sail look, so I think it's fine that neither tried that. I think they're both very well matched, as well as both having very little I would choose to change or improve. So what the heck, I'll give them both a 5 out of 5. As for detail, however, I think the differences could not be more obvious. Nanmu Spinosaurus has some impressively small, clean, and accurate scales. Whoever sculpted this clearly did their homework matching exact scales from the screen model to this figure. And while the paint may sometimes be a touch inaccurate, there's no denying that there's tons of it, and it's applied very impressively. You'd be challenged to find any mass-produced dinosaur figure with paint detail as great and as complex as this. When you're buying this figure, you're pretty much buying it for the insane paint job and the insane detail. There should be no question as to why I'm giving the Nanmu Spino 5 out of 5 Garys. He's more than earned it. Just look at him with your eyes. On the other hand, the Hammond Collection Spinosaurus, he's sort of the dud. The sculpt work is just sort of alright. None of it seems particularly informed by anything, almost like Mattel just had some basic scale texture 3D modeling brush and used it over places where they thought it would look nice. On top of that, the few sparse paint applications are mostly printed with ink or really clumsily applied. There's certainly more paint applications on it than your standard Mattel mainline release, but honestly, the quality isn't much better. Combine that with this ugly paint mishap right here on the leg, and yeah. The Hammond Collection Spino gets a 2 out of 5 Garys. It's certainly the weakest category for this figure, and it's such a shame since this is one of the best designs in the franchise, and so far, a really solid attempt from Mattel. Alright people, I hope you've been paying close attention. It's our last category and the last chance each Spino has at winning some final points. Sixth is bang for your buck. This is always the hardest category to figure out. Me paying for these figures doesn't even feel real anymore. It's a business expense and all that. Plus, on top of that, I got this Spino for free. Once again, check out Kalki's using my link in the bio and remember that discount code. This section is just kind of here to help you if you're trying to decide between these two, and kind of lay down a baseline expectation for what to pay for them. Nanmu Spinosaurus seems to generally cost anywhere from around $130 to $150 USD. I've seen it go for around 13,000 yen on some websites, which is equal to about $80 USD, but then you'd have to pay shipping out the wazoo because tariffs and such, so that might not be any help at all. Considering all the trouble of getting one imported, I'm very glad that Kalki's has got them in stock and was able to ship it out so quickly. That's on me for taking forever to make this review. I may or may not have also moved this month. Sorry, back on track. I'm going to give Nanmu a hesitant 3 out of 5 Garrys on price. For the Hammond Collection Spino, the original price of $59.99 USD seemed a little bit steep, but just alright, okay. But then Mattel had to get greedy. And some internal update happened and the price shifted to $65.99 USD. If that sounds bad, buddy, I've got rough news for you. Good luck finding one in box for anywhere less than $200. Those stanky scalpers had their way with this item, and Mattel's limited distribution did not help either. I think that initial price is actually just decent, but then the artificial bump up just after it was released seems like an insult from Mattel, and it brought that score down a bit. At $65.99, I'll give this guy 4 out of 5 Garrys. But at the scalper prices? No, no way. It'd get like negative 40 out of 5 Garrys. Alright, my googly gang, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. The judges are tallying their votes. That's right, we had judges the whole time. Who thought? It's Todd. Todd was the judge. Setting a brand new high score for the Dino Debate series with a whopping 31 points is the Nanmu Supplanter War God Spinosaurus. Of course, in second place is the Hammond Collection Spinosaurus, but he's no slouch with a very impressive 26 Garrys. That's higher than the original Nanmu Buck, which got 24, and makes it tied with the original Dino Debate champion, the Hammond Collection Allosaurus. Considering that a perfect score would have been a 35, I'd say our boys did pretty well for themselves, especially that Nanmu Spino. Setting new records and everything makes a Gremlin daddy proud. I am super happy to be living in a modern dinosaur action figure renaissance. Silly dinosaur debate shenanigans aside, I'm so happy to have both of these amazing Spinosaurus figures that I can add to my collection. The Spinosaurus gauntlet grows. Soon I'll have so many Spinos, but I'll have to start sleeping on the floor. They're taking up so much of my space. Gosh. Once again, a massive thank you to Kalki's Toys for sending me these figures for a review. If you want to get these figures for yourself, and if you want to ensure I'll be able to review more figures sponsored by them, go ahead and click the link in the description to visit their website. Any purchases made through that link greatly help me, so thank you if you do so. And also, of course, the biggest thank you to you. You fans are so patient while I cook up these videos, and I'm so thankful for your attention and all your sweet comments. And also, they're comments like this. Anyways, don't think I don't notice you fans and how much you care. I really do. You guys managed to warm my cold gremlin heart. Love you guys. That's all I've got for this one. Make sure to comment below what Dino Debate you'd like to see next, but other than that, Gary the Gremlin, out. Wait! I almost forgot! We should rank Todd as well, right? Let me crunch some numbers real quick. What? How is this possible? Never in all my Dino Debates have I seen a perfect score? Maybe the real most popular dinosaur along the way was Todd.